Okay, so this video is the third video that I'm going to be putting on my channel, and this one's a little bit different than the other two that I've put up so far. Uh, the two main things being that I'm in my bedroom. Say this is not where I normally record. You know, I've got mouse pad, mouse, keyboard. The other being I'm recording on my phone instead of recording narration over silent videos. So hopefully the video should actually relate to the sound a bit better than it normally does. Anyways, this video is going to be about notation. So what notation is basically when you're reading how to do stuff when you're solving a Rubik's Cube, especially later on, where none of my videos actually require knowing how to read notation, understand notation quite yet, but that does not mean that it's not important, because notation, understanding what side is, called what, is one of the number one things that you need to know when you're solving a Rubik's Cube. So basically, let's get started. Anyways, first things first, the way you hold the cube. That might not sound like something that's that that important, but it is. You've got something called your home position. It's where your hands want to go to every single time you finish. I think it's called home position. Let's just call it that for now. But basically, you've got sort of the heel of your thumb right here, both these heels, whatever you want to call them, right on the corners, lower left and right corners, and then you have the tips of your thumb right in the center, just like that. And they've got three fingers back here. These are the three main fingers you're going to be using, or at least the three main fingers I use. And we're just going to place those on these three pieces in back here. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. So we've got these right here, and basically this allows you to get the most amount of movement out of your cube just by, like, tensing your finger, just by curling it, just like this. See? Because when you have it like this, I move this finger out of the way, go like that, moves that face. See, I move this finger out of the way, see, moves that face. Same thing with these. Middle fingers, we don't turn this middle piece, but we do it like this. And there's also fancy tricks like this to move the top face and other faces faster than normal, which does require the middle finger, see? Just like that. But this video is not about finger tricks, which is what that is referred to as. Anyways, what this video is about is knowing what I'm talking about if I said RUR prime, which, by the way, is this, RUR prime. And basically, this whole concept of notation is not really that complicated. I mean, I don't think it's that complicated, because it's just referring to sides of the cube, and it relates directly to whatever side of the cube is facing whatever direction at any given time. For example, right now, this right here, this face, it's facing me. See, it's facing straight this way. So this is called F, because, front face, F. So it's not that complicated. And on the right side, right here, we've got the right face. See? This is facing my right. And that's called R for right. Not really that hard to remember. Then we've got L, which is left. Then we've got B, see, that faces backwards that way. And then we've got D, that faces down, because D, down, B, back. And then we've got U, up, or upwards. It's upwards face. Doesn't really make that much sense. You'd think they'd go with something like T, because that's, top face. But, they went with what they went with. And you're not going to find anywhere where somebody's saying T in an algorithm. But basically, the main thing is that there are basically about 3 different things you can do with every face. There's just the letter alone, which is, for example, R. That's just turning this right face, see, right face right here, that's turning the right face clockwise. If I say R, that's like that. And when it's facing you, it's like turning it away from you, just like that. And now if I said, there's 2 other things, and we've got R prime and R2. Now R prime is just the exact opposite of R. We've got R, turning it once clockwise. We've got R prime, which is turning it once counterclockwise. See, R prime. R prime again. See, just like that. We've got R, turning it clockwise, just like a clock. So that's basically, honestly, the simplest thing. It's like that for every single face. I say U, because it's U face. We look at this face. This is U. We say, so let's say I say U prime. That means turning the U face counterclockwise, just like this. I say U, that means turning the U face clockwise. See? It's like a clock. So now, you may have realized that I didn't say the other thing, the other move that you do with the piece. And that's because I don't have a reason. I didn't feel like it. Basically, so you've got R, R prime, but now we've got one third one. This one's the easiest one to remember, R2, or, F2, U2. Basically, it's just turning it twice, 2. So basically, so we got R, turning the side clockwise, right side clockwise. Got R prime, see? R prime, turning counterclockwise, R prime, R. And I've got R2, so it's just like that. Alright, so then it can be a little bit confusing because it's not, like for example, this is R, but this is L. And that's because when you look at the face, you're turning it clockwise, see? Clockwise? That means it turns away from you, so now we've got the yellow right there. If I look at yellow, and I say L, and now that's turning clockwise like this, so it means it's turning it towards me, see? It can be a little bit difficult to get at first, but I find the easiest things to remember are basically like F and U. So basically we've got F right here, and so if I say F, it's like this. See, it's just like a clock. And because it's right in front of you, you don't have to like look at it and think, okay, is this R or R prime? So we've got F, F prime, and F2. Okay, so now I've got U, U prime, U2, or U2. Okay, so now we've got two other faces I haven't talked about, and that's because those are kind of the hardest. So basically, we've got U right here. So if I say U, that's turning it clockwise. But then underneath it, we've got D. So that's kind of confusing. So if we do D prime, that's moving the D face, the down face, bottom face, counterclockwise, just like this. See? If I say U, that's like this, but D prime, then like this. See? It seems like this should be D and this should be U, just like that. But no, this is U and this is D. See? It can be a little bit confusing. And it's the same thing with B. If I say F, so we've got F, that's turning the front face clockwise. And if I say B, it's turning this face clockwise. So if we look at it, see? Turn it like this. See? See? It's just like this. It's like an F prime. So F prime is turning the front face, this face, counterclockwise. And if I say B prime, that's turning this face like this. If I say B, it's turning it the same way as F prime. It's a little bit confusing, but you get used to it after a point. Basically, I just want you guys to practice that. Just try to remember, try to be like, I guess, write down a string of stuff on a piece of paper, just something like, here, let's see. Just write down something like, just like R, F, R prime, D, D prime, L, something like that. So you can just remember, so what's R? So that's like this. What's F? That's like this. What's R prime? That's like this. So basically, just try to practice something like that. I think my camera just went out of focus a little bit. But basically, just try to practice that, and that's one of the more important things, because later when we get more in depth with this, you're going to need to know what I'm saying if I say R, U, R prime, U prime, like this. Now that's pretty fast, but and you don't have to do it that fast once we get to there. But anyways, that's just one of the more basic things, one of the most important things that we need to know. And just to follow up that, I just want to talk about how you handle the cube, just really quickly. Basically, so when you're holding it, when you're doing R moves and L moves, you just grab the piece, because you want to keep this front face facing you. You don't want to turn it to turn the things. So you just grab it, and you turn it with your wrist, right here. You're not trying to flick this piece. You're just keeping your hand in place, because like I said, home position, see? And that way it allows you to go back to this, so I can just put my hands right back where I said we put them before. See? L moves, R moves. And now with U moves, we do it with our pointer fingers on either hand. So this is U, we do that with our right finger, and U prime, we do that with our left finger, see? Now it's the same thing with D and D prime. So D prime, right hand. Like I said, that's moving it counterclockwise. And then we've got D, that's moving with the left hand. And this is done with our ring fingers. Alright? Now, hopefully that shouldn't be too confusing. Also, sorry, one last thing. When you're doing basically R2 moves, I would suggest just grabbing from underneath and turning it over. Not trying to, like, doing that. Just do it in one nice move. And if you can attempt to start on learning just this one finger trick, this is one of the more basic things. This is the first finger trick I think I learned. It's just pushing with this finger and then this finger. Eventually that gets a lot faster, so it's like super speedy. Oh yeah, sorry. One last thing. Okay, so when you're doing F and B moves, it's just the same as U and D moves, except for you just switch your grip, sort of like you're about to do an R or an L prime, and you just switch your grip, and see, you use your pointer fingers to move the F, and you use your ring fingers, see right here, to move the B face, just like that. So hopefully that's not too confusing. Do not feel bad about going through the video again. Just like I said before, any and all comments are welcomed. Any suggestions, any requests that you have for future videos, I welcome them with open arms. Basically, just remember, go over this stuff on your own. I don't want, you're not going to learn just by watching me once. But just quick review. F, R, U, L, D, and B. These can get flipped pretty easily because you can think bottom, B, but no, this is D. D, 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 D. Downwards, upwards, back. Anyways, oh yeah, and then just remember, prime, kind of looks like a little apostrophe, like if I were to write R prime, it'd look like this. Sometimes it's written like as a little sort of an I, but it's more often than not it's written as kind of an apostrophe. But that means counterclockwise, like this. This is counterclockwise. And just so you know this, I don't want you guys to think that only the green face is F, only the red face is R. It's basically the same thing no matter where you are. So like if I have it like this is F now, this is R now, this is L, this is U, this is D, and this is B. Same thing, it doesn't really matter. Just see, U, F, R, L, D, U. And that's basically it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to go watch any of my older videos. That's basically it. And I think I'm just gonna do yeah, no, that's it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, honestly, do whatever you want. Just keep watching my videos. Thanks for watching.